Hello and welcome to our time together to talk about conscious discipline. Today we are going to talk about tantrums and fits. Does this look like a familiar scene to you? How about this one? Yeah, we can have fits too. So, my name is Heather. I am a conscious discipline facilitator, a mom, a longtime early childhood educator, and YMCA employee. Let's talk about the difference between a fit and a tantrum. This is important so that we know how to respond. So, a frustration fit is all about us saying yes, right? They are trying to get us to give in. They are maybe physical and it may be big behavior in front of us, but they usually can state or yell what it is that they want from us, and we probably don't have tears, right? And these can last a really long time, like into adulthood, if we don't get some tools for this. Now, a tantrum is from an overstimulated nervous system. They are overwhelmed and they need some help with regulation. Screaming, probably not able to tell us exactly what they want. We've got real tears here. These are more age appropriate, between the ages of 1 and 4, which does not mean that you don't see them after the age of 4. And they might resist some touch. They don't want to be, it's like they want us, but get away from me, right? They don't really want touched. Now you may be thinking, nope, my child has this screaming, real tears, but it was because they wanted me to give in. It may have been triggered by the word no. It may have been triggered by not getting what they wanted. And then their nervous system became overwhelmed and it turned into something different. And this is the big difference here, because one is calling for help, right? An overstimulated, an overwhelmed nervous system needs our help. So what do we do? Here's tip number 1. There's ideas all over the internet. What we might currently be doing is giving into it or indulging exactly what they want from us. So sometimes we're in a store and it's embarrassing, and so we give in. And sometimes it is just easier. For me, sometimes with my child, the tantrum is happening because I said no, or the fit, and I'm like, why did I even say no? It doesn't even really matter to me. Just go ahead and do it. We don't need to go through all this, right? What we're teaching is the way to get your way is to throw a fit, right? And then eventually they might start doing it longer and louder until they get their way. We might also ignore or distract them with something else. No, come on, do this. We might punish them, threaten timeout. So this doesn't make the tantrum go away, because we're not giving them a tool to use next time the world's not going their way, right? It might stop it in the moment, but long term it doesn't stop it, because we're not teaching them something. In this moment, they don't have their own way to calm themselves down or to ask in a different way or to have a conversation with us. So what we need to do is give them a new skill, teach ourselves a new skill on how to handle these situations. And then with practice, things start to change.
Is it that you deal better with your emotional struggles alone? Or is it that you were sent away when you were struggling, sent to your room, told to get over it, to sort it out yourself, and you learned that the only acceptable version of you was one that was happy and positive, and that nobody would want to be around you when you were struggling?
That's important. When we send our child away, when we demand that they stop, when we walk away from them, what we're teaching them is nobody is gonna put up with this. Nobody's gonna like you when you're acting like this. And for many of us, that's exactly what we were taught, and that's why we hold our tears until we get into the bathroom stall all alone. It's why we march off to be by ourselves, and that's not always a terrible thing, but our emotions are okay. You are not over emotional. You are not too emotional. You are entitled to everything that your body feels, if we haven't been given another skill other than go away, nobody wants to see this, then we don't have another skill as grown-ups either. This is what we're doing for our children. We are giving them another skill set. We are saying, this isn't how we handle it, but I'm going to give you a better way, right? Because their emotions are valid, just like yours are. So what we're going to do is we're going to coach regulation, right? We're not giving in, we're not indulging, we're not ignoring or threatening. What we're going to practice doing is coaching regulation. And in order to do that, we need to be regulated. And the first step to that is Q-tip. Quit taking it personally. That is hard because it all feels personal. We put so much into caring for the people around us. It feels personal when we give them everything and then they throw a fit because they didn't get this one thing, right? It feels personal. It is not about us. It is all about them. This is happening in front of me and not to me. That is what my inner voice tells me in these situations. This is not happening to me. He needs my help. Okay, so quit taking it personally. And the next is put your oxygen mask on first, right? That spiel in the beginning of safety airline is put your mask on first. In the event of an emergency, put your mask on before you try to help anybody else. You are no good to anybody besides you if you yourself cannot get that oxygen, right? It's exactly the same situation here. If you cannot calm, if you cannot remain calm, then you cannot model regulation for your child, nor can you download regulation for the child or adult in front of you, right? Our energy affects each other all the time. So put your mask on first. And we just said, don't walk away from them when they're having a tantrum. If walking away is because you're triggered and you are feeling that emotion rise, walk away to put your oxygen mask on, to remind yourself that isn't personal so that you can model calm in this situation. Coaching regulation can start like this. I'm calm, and so I'm going to establish body awareness. What I'm doing there is getting the child to come back into their body, if that makes sense. Bring themselves back into some awareness about what I'm doing. So I might say, your face is going like this. Your arms are going like this. Your feet are going like this, because I want them to look at me. I want them to recognize what's happening in their own body. And then I'm going to reflect back what I believe to be the problem, right? The problem, the emotion that they're having. So I'm going to reflect back and say, your body is telling me, your yelling is telling me that you are scared, that you are sad, that you're frustrated, that you're angry. So I'm going to bring them back into their body, and then I'm going to acknowledge, because man, wouldn't it be nice if you were angry and someone was like, I can really tell that you're upset, right? That's typically not what happens. A, because we hide from each other when we're having big emotions, or B, even as grown-ups, someone invalidates that for us, right? Like, knock it off. You don't need to be acting like this. You're being ridiculous. And that doesn't feel good as a grown-up. It doesn't feel good as a kid either. So coaching regulation, we're going to acknowledge what's happening, right? You were hoping to go to your friend's house. It's hard to feel like you're missing out, right? We think you get to go out with your friends all the time. This one time I'm saying, no, you'll be fine. But remember what it was like to be a teenager. It is hard when you can't go and then all your friends are going and it feels like you're missing out. It's okay for us to acknowledge that. This is hard. It feels like you're missing out. This is tough. Or you were hoping for candy at the store. This is hard. If we judge whether we think it's worth being upset about, we don't get anywhere. We just have to accept they're in front of us and they are upset. They are having a hard time. So not getting candy is hard, even though you have a ton of candy at home, and that's where we're headed, right? It's hard. We can validate that. And then we're going to shift to what we want them to do, right? Because probably what we're thinking in that moment is, what I want is to stop. What do we want them to do. So we are going to use a different way to tell them what to do. We're going to provide two positive choices. Okay. You may do your homework here in the kitchen with me, or you may do your homework in your bedroom. Which works better for you, right? So I'm not going to give in to that you want to go to your friend's house because you swear you'll do your homework later. I'm going to say, this is hard, right? It's hard to feel like you're missing out. So you can do your homework here, or you can do it there. You can do it now. You can take a break and do it in a half an hour. Okay. We provide some choices. We tell them exactly what we want them to do. So two positive choices is about two things I can live with, right? It is not, you can do your homework, or you can not go to your friends for the next week, right? That is not a choice. That is a choice and a threat, and manipulation will get us nowhere. So two things that we can live with. If I don't care where they do their homework or whether they do it now or in a half an hour, then there's where my choices come. And I am providing some control. I'm handing some control back to this child so that they can make a decision about the situation, right? It's hard to not have control over most of your world. When you're a kiddo. And even for small children, my choice might be in the grocery store when we're having the fit about the candy is that you can ride in the cart with me, or you can walk beside me and help me find the macaroni and cheese, right? You can help me pack the groceries, or you can go over there and play a game on my phone until we're all cashed out. So two positive choices, two things. I don't need to waste my time saying, stop crying. I can just say, this is hard. You're disappointed. So here's what we can do. You're still not going to get the candy, right? We're not giving in, but here's what we can do, and provide them the two choices. When we coach regulation, when we calm, when we acknowledge that this is tough for them, and then we offer them positive choices, or just tell them what to do, right? Calmly tell them what to do. We are giving them a tool for how to handle these situations for the rest of their lives, right? Because frustration and not getting your way does not end when you're an adult, right? We are giving them a tool to handle upset for the rest of their lives. And we are showing them, no matter what, like, I've still got you. You might act in a way that I am, have some feelings about, but it doesn't matter because your feelings are valid and I'm here for you. So remember that, when these situations happen with our kids, it's like they're plugged into us. We are the power strip, right? And they are plugged into us. And so when we have big emotions about their behavior, we're just giving them more energy, right? We're just giving them more energy, more power to keep that tantrum or fit going, to keep that argument, that power struggle going. So for me, this is a visual I have inside my head, works with adults too, is that I just imagine I'm not putting any more energy into this. I'm going to unplug, right? I'm going to cut that connection between us, not to leave, certainly, but I'm going to unplug. I'm going to stay calm. I'm not going to feed into this energy. I'm not going to give you more power to keep going. I'm going to show you what it's like to stay calm. The last thing we need to do is make a plan, right? If we know that homework and not going out with friends is an issue, if going to the store and having a fit that we don't get what we want is an issue, then we're going to make a plan for next time, right? We can practice what to do if it ends in a fit or a temper tantrum, but we're going to make a plan. Before we go to the store, I'm going to make a plan. So we're going to the store today and we're not going to buy any candy. We're only going to buy what's on our list. Would you like to ride in the cart and take a game, or would you like to help me with the list? and you can cross off the things as we get them, right? I'm going to make a plan so that when we walk into this, I'm going to reduce the likelihood that there's going to be a tantrum or a fit. Okay. So planning is so important. Head to our stories tab and read Sophie, or listen and share with your child Sophie Makes a Choice or Schubert's Choice is a longer book for older children. And even if your child doesn't want to listen to the story with you, you listen to it. I promise it's got good stuff in there. It really models how we can use this language about using two positive choices and to keep unplugged and keep calm. You have got this. I am wishing you well.